You're listening to the Desert Moon Hockey Podcast with Matt and Rich. Welcome back to episode 32 of the Desert Moon Hockey Podcast with my host, Matt, and the co-host, Richard here. Got a little bit of stories coming from the Mullet, shall we say, from a few days ago. This is episode 32. I have to start us right off. I think we go right into the Mullet, right? I don't think we can go anywhere else.
Well, I mean, I want to start off by saying, look, it's good you finally know your place. We've established I'm the host, but no, it's funny. Remember how I said I don't know how I could talk yesterday? Now I don't know if you can hear it. The voice really isn't with me. So it took a couple of days. We're a little delayed, but the Mullet did claim one more victim. But wow, let's just start off there. We can get into the Michael Telquist stuff later. This is episode Michael Telquist. I have a couple of stories why I remember that, because apparently Richie's like, I don't know how you remember that. I'm like, it's Michael Telquist. But stop with the Mullet. We're both wearing them. I'm going full Joe Dirt, Tiger King over here, and Richie's just happy to be here.
I'm a space cadet, I think is what they say. No, I'm gonna go with Hulk Hogan. Didn't he have a mullet? I think he had a mullet. I'm going with Hulk Hogan. If he didn't, I don't care. I'm Hulk Hogan. So we are currently wearing, for you audio listeners, blonde wigs with Go Coyotes Go on the top. So being part of one of the 4,600 fans that
the three people that showed up, you can be honest.
Yeah. Being a part of the opening night presentations, everybody in attendance got a fake mullet to embrace the Mullett Arena. And I gotta say, this is probably one of their better gag gifts that they've given out. Pretty good. I'm a little sad there's not some differentiation in color. I would have liked to see some more style opportunities, but it is what it is. I'll take the blonde wig. And yeah.
I know I told my wife, I'm like, look, just go ahead and buy me some trading cards now. Buy me a little gift. She's like, why? I'm like, because it might not happen today. Might not happen tomorrow. But one day, you're going to find a stray blonde hair from this wig, and you're going to start a fight over it.
That is true. That is very true. I saw quite a few of them left behind. I picked up 2 more, so I actually have 3 total. Yeah.
I was going to grab more. I just don't know how you disinfect them. Or else I would have had like 16 mullets. I would have put them on the dogs. I would have handed them out to random neighbors. I would have followed random children around on Halloween saying, "Take your mullet, kids!"
I figure you can probably wash them or something. I just tossed them in the laundry, and I'm just going to wash them, see how it goes.
Wash them by themselves, though. Don't mix your clothes in with them.
No, definitely not. I definitely will not do that. If they mess up, oh well. I don't care. I got mine.
I was like, they were free.
Yeah. I also saw a shirt, but it was covered in beer, and I wasn't willing to make the sacrifice to pick that one up.
That's stained for like 3 washes. That is stained for a while.
Yeah. I was very tempted to grab it, and then I saw that it was wet with beer, and I was like, nah, I'm good. I'm not taking that shirt. But all right, let's get into the Michael Telquist here. You got a story for us?
Yeah, so on my birthday, April 8th, 2007, in a game at home against the Vancouver Canucks, I got to meet all the players and whatnot. So Michael Telquist, he had a stack of trading cards, like of his own card. I think he was walking out of the suite area or going to that little like luxury suite that's downstairs, like right in between where the locker rooms are. And he's like, oh, hey, it's your birthday, today's your lucky day. Here's a Michael Telquist card. And I thought it was cool because I was like 11 years old, but like, I remember my brother-in-law was like, oh yeah, great. I get a backup goaltender's Toronto Maple Leafs card because he got traded or acquired throughout the season, so all the cards were Toronto Maple Leafs. So there's my Telquist story.
So you're telling me he's the one who started the addict, the addiction. There we go. That's what I'm looking for.
Well, I was playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Before that, but I mean, maybe.
Okay. I will say, after that riveting story. I'm going to beg all of you to like, subscribe, follow on whatever platform you're listening to us on to get more Michael Telquist stories, because Matt's got the inside scoop about backup goaltenders who have apparently a stack of their own cards.
I mean, I have a Brizgalov story too, but that one's more just like me being aggressive.
Oh, okay. You want to tell it, or are you just going to tease everyone?
Screw it. Why not? Because we'll have a couple extra minutes. So, Brizgalov, Mister, why he had to be mad. It's only a game, but it's like he broke his stick a lot. So there's one time, I think he smacked it before he got off the ice. So he went to go just hand it into the crowd. There were 3 different kids. I was in the middle. There was 2 others, and I grabbed it right by the handle, like where he would handle it on the ice. And I looked at the other kid like I was gonna swing the stick around and beat him across the head with it, and then he slowly backed away. So I guess some of that aggression did pass on to me, because I was not letting go of that Brizgalov stick. I think I got a Telquist stick too at one point. I don't have any of this anymore because I was like, oh, I'm too old for all this childish shit when I was leaving high school. So thanks, 18-year-old me, you dumbass.
Yeah, that's a bit of an oopsie. Did you just throw it away, or did you donate it? What'd you do?
Those 2 were both broken, but I put tape on them. I was using the Telquist stick as a street hockey stick. It was Telquist or Mike Smith. I really can't remember, but I ended up selling whatever ones to a pawn shop that were viable, and then everything else I just threw away. And I'm like, I'm gonna downsize because I'm mature and I'm an idiot.
All right, well, that was stupid of you. I think we can all admit.
Yeah. No, I am not a smart person. I don't understand why people listen to me. I'm an idiot.
Well, talking about non-idiot decisions, I think we can talk about the Coyotes moving to the Mullett Arena themselves. I know that we had our emergency episode. If you didn't see that, go ahead and go watch that. That's on the channel on YouTube. That is Desert Moon Hockey on YouTube. But for those that don't watch the video, let's talk a little bit audibly about our experiences and how I think that this might be the right decision for the Coyotes to be in a temporary location of all temporary locations, even comparatively to Gila River. This might certainly be the better place to be going.
Well, I mean, you're not wrong. I know me and you got to speak briefly with Craig Morgan in the second intermission, but I remember talking to him this literally was the best possible decision. I wanted them to go to the Madhouse. I thought that would have been cool as hell, but it would have been, I think, double or triple what they paid for the annex to get that up where it should be, so it just wouldn't have been worth it. But it's they want to already get into Tempe, so you already start that relationship. You already start getting involved with the community. Of course, I said it from the beginning. If you want to go in business in Tempe, you get into bed with ASU, and look what the Coyotes did. The season ticket numbers, the sales went up. The total revenue has gone up. Now, obviously, throughout the entire season, it should be about the same as what it was last year, if not going up by, throw a random mild percentage, maybe 10% or so. It's still a huge improvement from what it was in this giant, mostly taken over by opposing team fans arena. As much as I love that place, I have my own personal preference. This was just better. So everything's already looking better. You have the national spotlight on you. That place was rocking. It was loud. It was packed. I don't know if you felt it. There were 3 or 4 different times my feet were shaking. The ground beneath you was shaking because everyone was just getting so loud and hooting and hollering. It was just a great atmosphere. This was the best possible decision, though it doesn't look like it. But if you were there, if you were in that crowd, local people already knew. PHNX, Craig Morgan, all those guys already knew. We already knew. But even if you were skeptical, until you're in that building, you don't know. How good of a decision it was. And I still stand by the novelty will wear off after a year, but that should line up perfectly with when we're getting start dates on breaking ground for the new arena. So it's everyone's going to be ready for that next project. I think it's going to be fine. It's only 3 years. Hopefully, just 3. I don't want that 4th year. We've already talked about that. I don't think ASU wants that year. The Coyotes don't want that 4th year. That's just as a little bit of insurance, just in case.
Unless they pay some fat money to get that land remediated quickly, I I think it's going to be 4 years. I think it's going to be, if I'm going to have to guess, I'm going to say 3.5 years. I think
Well,
that's how long the project's going to take.
if your speculation, when we were talking in the first intermission, if your speculation that Sky Harbor could try to make it ugly, and all you got to do is sue and just keep asking for continuances for as long as you possibly can. That it could take an extra 6 months before we can even get all the approvals to do a break ground date with all that. Could be even more. So it's like, don't put that bad juju out there, but I could see it. I'm just not going to think about it.
I also don't know how the like the literature of it goes, but I do know that it's broken between phase 1 and phase 2. Phase 1, there is no fight against the airport. Like phase 1 is the arena and all of the surrounding area that you would have like bars and stuff at, right? And none of that stuff falls under a jurisdiction that doesn't allow them to put that there. So I don't know if they're going to like try to forcibly put phase 1 in where like you can't sue on this, so there's no point in trying. And then maybe phase 2 is where the suing happens. And then, you know, it may be a desert or sorry, a blank lot next to the arena for, you know, a few years because it's going to take a while for all that residential to be built in.
All I know is that I people that don't know the land we're talking about, like, it kind of makes sense. I know, was it Javier Gutierrez at the that Tempe council meeting was like, phase 1 is we want to make sure the building fits first. So you place the arena down first, obviously. It'd be funny as hell if they tried to place, like, housing first. Oh, hey, we don't have enough room for the arena. Like, that would be an absolute disaster. But you get the arena in first, so, like, just in case there is any sort of other complications, because even if it is the airport just trying to throw a wrench in it just because they know the residential is coming, like, just expect that it could take a little longer. And I don't know if there's anything else going on there. You know, maybe we'll get news, maybe we won't. But just, I don't want that 4th year at ASU. I do believe the novelty will wear off. That's why I'm like, let's just get this vote happen. Let's get it done. Let's get a break ground day, and just, let's get going.
Yeah, agreed. I think that's the best thing for this franchise. Once we get that date, it's going to be a breath of fresh air. It still doesn't mean that we're out of the storm, but it definitely
the first shovel has to hit dirt. That's when it's like 80%. Like, obviously, you have to account for if something happens. We're not going to put that out there. But it's like, once the first shovel hits the dirt, you are, as good as it can be.
Yep.
At that point. So it's like, just a little longer, Coyotes fans. Just a little longer.
Yeah. I'm going to wrangle us back in here, get us back on topic with the mullet. I will say that there are some positives and negatives. Once again, this is going to be a little bit of a... if you watch the video, you're going to hear these, but I'm going to go back over some of my critiques and criticisms of the arena. I'm going to start with the negatives. I think that there is some negatives to be acknowledged, at the very least. And this isn't even coming from being a Coyotes fan watching an NHL game here. I think that even if you are an ASU fan, there's some criticisms that should be acknowledged. Because regardless of whether you're watching NHL hockey or NCAA hockey, 5,000 seats feels the same, regardless of who's sitting in them. I will say that the first one has to do with the concourse. So the hallways are pretty tight. There's no denying that. They're pretty tight. And that's even like ignoring the extra concession stands that they kind of splattered in there to add in some like jerseys and sales and stuff like that for the Coyotes. It does definitely feel like a college arena because of that. Everybody's on top of each other. It's like going to a college party. It's tight. And the other thing being, which is a really interesting design choice. So it's not a full ring around the concourse. It's actually shaped like a C, essentially, because one side that you can't go through is for like premium lounge like seating. So they kind of have their own proportion of the concourse that you're not allowed to like walk through. So in order to do anything, it's all through that one side that everybody's like traveling, and it's a tight fit over there. So there's a lot of like moving parts going on, and it's a lot. It's a lot. I'm not gonna play pretend that it works perfectly. It's not ideal. With that being said, it still did work. It definitely worked. And yeah, there was, I think, something like 80 national reporters there. And they were taking up all the standing room only seating by effectively there's like a pedestal or what would you call it? It's like a bar. Like a bar top.
Like a bar stool,
Yeah, it was
a little bar stool are sitting on. So it's one. I think the arena sits weird. So it's like what would be the south end in most places. I think is the west end, but one entire half of it looped around. Of the standing room only seats was just for the media, because there was the reason that the capacity is 4,600. It's considered a sellout is because the amount of seats that had to be reserved for like family, friends, media personnel, stuff like that. Now, it should probably be a little bit higher after the first game. There's a lot of national, presence there for that first game. Probably going to be, again, tonight. But it should calm down a little bit to maybe like 4,700, that first number we were hearing for the longest time.
Yeah, I think so.
So, like, some standing room was being sold, but it was just, like, off in the corner. And then I think behind the student section. Everything else was all media.
Yeah, all the standing room was taken over by the media. It's a interesting atmosphere. I'll say that. So it's something that the Coyotes have not had in a long time, which is spunk, which is peppiness, right? It's all those ASU students that are coming in. Generally, I would say in Glendale, a lot of the fans were very PG. A lot of them were families. A lot of them had kids. A lot of them weren't swearing. There was a lot of swearing going on at this game, I will say.
The chants.
Yeah.
The chants.
There were chants of BS. There were chants of a whole lot of things. But it didn't make it like awkward. It made it fun. I swear. I try not to on this podcast. But I swear, so it's not a big deal to me. But I could definitely see like a family with like kids coming in. It could be not as easy for them to keep their children from hearing all that stuff.
But luckily, families won't be going because a family of 4 is a minimum of like $600 after ticket fees and everything. So it's like, it's not really designed for that. And I joined in on the BS chant, not the chant, but the BS chant I was definitely in on. But it was like, we haven't had the loud, obnoxious, rowdy, everyone's in it, everyone's involved, like, since the playoffs. Like, we talked about it in that little emergency episode where it was a lot of fun and it felt natural. Like, as someone who goes to a lot of NHL games, or even I went to a couple of college games, I didn't even hear that much cursing in the college game. Like, when I went to go watch the ASU take on Colorado College, I didn't even hear that much, if at all. It was actually a lot more chill. It felt more like a Gila River game, except for the student section. That was just this weird, like, obnoxious, awesome thing that I don't understand because I'm a 42-year-old man. But, like, everyone else was just kind of chill and having fun. This was just, like everyone was in college, even though the vast majority of them were not college students. And like, the dude directly behind me, like a couple seats behind me, was chirping at this Jets fan in front of him. So he was one who started the Mark Scheifele chant. There was so much jawing going back and forth. It was all in good fun. They shook hands afterward, whatever, because it's all in good fun. But it was interesting. Like it was a fun place to be. Even you know me, like if you get me around people or get me a couple vodka Red Bulls deep, I get really obnoxious. But it's like, other than that, I'm usually pretty like reserved and kind of awkward. Even I felt comfortable just yelling and hooting and hollering at that game. And I went alone. I was sitting by myself. That was an awkward experience, but I regret nothing.
Speaking of seating, if you're a Coyotes fan that's gone to multiple games at Gila River Arena, the seating's going to be a little different because the vast majority of them are either bleachers or plastic seats. That's something you got to get used to. There is cushion, but they're only in the premium seating. The sides do not get any premium seating, so you just got to expect that you are going to have a cold butt. When you sit down, that plastic ain't too warm. So
I didn't notice that.
I don't mind, but my wife immediately was just like, "Oh my god!" Like, she just sat on a piece of ice essentially. So I think from now on she's gonna bring 2 blankets and she's just gonna wrap herself like a burrito essentially. She already brings 1 blanket for her legs. Now she's gonna have to bring a second one for the seat.
There you go. Hey, come prepared.
Yeah. Just something that you're going to have to get used to if you're not used to having padded seats. Maybe even bring one of those old man padders that you can sit on.
Also, the bathrooms, use the ones downstairs. All
yes.
Right? The stairs on the perimeter, use those, go downstairs. Bathrooms are, I think there's 2 of them on either side, and also the lines weren't as bad. I feel like no one bothered to take a mental note because everyone goes in from downstairs and they come up. So I don't think anyone took a mental note. And the first intermission there, like I was trying to meet up with Richie just like behind the concourse, and it was just everyone's in line to take a piss.
Yeah, it was at least, I don't know, probably 100 people standing in a line waiting to pee. Like
it was bad.
Yeah, it was a lot. It was way more than what anyone expected. So be careful with that. Don't get caught up in those lines. Use the downstairs ones. There's one on each side downstairs. It's much better than having to wait a long time to pee.
I mean, thankfully, I usually pee like right when the periods are starting, or like I'll leave a couple minutes early if I need to. But that's also why you don't drink.
I usually leave during the TV timeouts. I don't know why. That's just always how I've been as a kid. One issue though is I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do that as much. I sit kind of in the middle all year.
Oh God.
and scooting past, it's a tight fit. I wouldn't say it's like so tight that you can't deal with it. Like it's definitely good enough to where when I sit down, I'm not like putting my knees through the back of the person's head in front of me. It's enough space there for me to be comfortable. It's just not enough space for me to walk past people if they're standing. So
it's designed for college kids, Richie. Like the kids that are like actually in good shape and not fat guys like you and I. Like
yeah, that's true.
Those kids are what it's designed for.
That's very true. But yeah, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that this year. I don't know if I can do my TV timeout peas, which is probably a good thing because there's some games that, man, I if the Coyotes need a goal, I just need to leave to go pee because they literally score. There was a game last year where the Coyotes scored 4 goals. 3 of the 4 goals I missed. 3 of them. Like, literally, the second I left to go pee, they would score.
Let's talk about goals. So the goal horn was the big topic on Twitter. Wow,
I know.
Just gave out on me.
Yeah.
All right, so correct me if I'm wrong. This is how I remember it. I wasn't actively listening, like oh, I'm gonna listen for the goal horn, but I remember it was fine for the second goal. I remember it being there on the second goal. And so wasn't it just like it wasn't?
No, it wasn't there. So it was there. You did hear it when when after warm-ups ends and then they signal like, hey everybody GTFO.
Mm-hmm.
It was I think there because is it like a more typical like hockey horn? It's not like the ones that we had at Gila River. I know that you went to the Sun Devil games. Was it like a like much higher pitched noise?
At the Sun Devils game, they do this weird like I think they play like music when it goes off and everyone just like yells Like,
Okay.
dude, now my brain is broken because I don't know if I just assume it's always there because I'm just used to it. But like now that you're making me like actually think if I heard it, I'm starting to question my reality. I'm starting to
So
like have a 3 a.m. conversation here.
So the one that I heard was when all the players were finished with warm up and the time ended, and it signaled them to get off, and it was a loud like, meh, like I don't I'm I don't want to keep blowing out people's ears, but it was like a loud, like more traditional style hockey horn. It wasn't like a boat horn or a truck horn. It was like a kind of your typical rink horn. I heard that one, but then obviously when they scored their goals, I didn't hear it. So not too sure what's going on with that. But of course, horn not work equal Coyote fault. You know, definitely not the responsibility of the building or the people who built the building, or not their fault. It's a Coyote fault. Coyote fault. They broke horn.
They needed something to be like, hey, the Coyote's bad, so it's like goal horde, and then we're not talking about the locker rooms again because like they went all out and actually made them look pretty nice, like with actual like,
I thought
walls
so
and everything
too.
and carpet. But
Yeah.
remember, Coyote bad. It's gonna be just made out of pipe and drape. When pipe and drape were just the outline like border of it. Like they did more. So at one Cardinals game, they had like a cheerleading competition or like cheerleaders coming out like for the halftime show. So in the we call it the throat, but it's in the like the store is right there, down on the south end. We had to set up like 4 different stalls and pipe and drape for them to get dressed in. We just set pipe and drape and left. And then of course like it bugged me because I love using that shortcut throughout game days because less traffic, but I couldn't for that game. So screw you guys, but it's like we just did that and left, and they were on their own. If a wind blew, the curtain's going that way. No, the Coyotes went all out with this, and they added walls and everything. Like you saw all the different areas, and it's still just pipe and drape. It's bad. It's all bad.
It bad. Folding chair bad.
I cannot believe you have a folding chair. What a bad man.
How disrespectful of the millionaires. How dare you? I expected luxury sofas. Luxury sofas.
Wait, did you retweet it where it's like, or my wife might have, it was like, hockey Twitter, hockey players are some of the toughest, grittiest athletes, and then also hockey Twitter, oh my god, I can't believe they don't have luxury suites down there in the locker room. So, dude, yeah. Blake Wheeler, he has a reason, an actual reason to have a grudge against the Coyotes, not like them. He even said the whole locker room thing was blown out of proportion, and him and Pierre-Luc Dubois both complimented the ice, saying it was some of the best they skated on. Yeah. Like it's desperation and it's just laughs. So like I've been enjoying ridiculous success on the YouTube channel by making fun of these people.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess do you really want to get into that real quick? Or
to which are you referring? Because I have the app right here down to my left.
Your huge success for this game. I'd say that the most appropriate thing to sell your PlayStation 5 for was probably that vlog. That vlog was very successful.
So obviously the last vlog it was for the women's ASU game. The first one.
Wait, sorry. Before you start, give some context of what I mean by PlayStation 5.
So I sold my PS5 so I could afford the ticket to opening night because like. A lot of factors went into it. TLDR, I was also still pretty mad at myself for missing Josh Doan, scoring the first men's goal in ASU. So I'm like, you know what? I'm not missing out on Coyotes history. I'm not gonna not be there. The tickets went down a little bit. Standing room only was available for $100. $20 more. I was sitting 3 rows closer than standing room. I was like row M, and it was a pretty good seat, and I'll take that. So yeah, no, I usually game on Xbox and PC anyway, but it's like PS5 is temporary. Going to this historic moment was forever. And so the last vlog I made got like 3,000 views as of right now. It's like 2.9 thousand. After like 600 views, I'm like, okay, maybe it's slightly clickbaity, I said first game. I should have put my first game. That's my bad, whatever. Then I'm like, if I can get 300 views, I was like 397 subscribers. So I'm like right up there, about to hit 400. Like, I'll if you want, I'll elaborate on this at the end of the episode. If not, I won't. But it's like I kind of had hard numbers I wanted to hit by the end of the year. So I'm like, cool, everything's going great. I go to bed. I wake up, and this thing starts blowing the F up. And in just 12 hours, it became the most viewed video on my channel, beating out that Cole Caulfield video, 5.3 thousand views. I will never be able to replicate that, is what I thought to myself. Right now, a little over a day, it's at 16,000 views, and I jumped from 398 subscribers to 608 as we record right now.
Yeah.
I don't know how to comprehend that.
See, the secret is that you snuck in the casual get me up to 400 subscribers wink at the beginning. See the begging for subscriptions works just like I'm about to do right now. If you are enjoying what you're listening to, you should definitely subscribe, like, and follow on whatever platforms you're listening to us on. Wink.
Get us to 100 on YouTube. Come on, Richie puts in too much work, and I have a pretty face. You guys can admit that. But yeah, no. So I spent an hour and a half last night recording like 5 or 6 different essentially thank you milestone videos, and I'm like I'm not satisfied with the quality of any of them. So I'm like I have no idea what to do, where to go, other than like the road to 1K is officially like choo.
Yeah. I have no clue either. That's a you problem, my guy. Ha ha.
Ah, crap. Anyway, so there's me. There's me bragging about just being a minor e-celeb. I'm kidding.
One video and it's already going to your head. I see how it is.
I'm already like I'm above Richie. I'm above all. I'm kidding. But no, I did though become the most subscribed to Coyotes channel on YouTube again, and I would like this to replace AZ Sports Guy as the most. So subscribe. But let's talk about other content creators. Let's take a minute to talk about some of the cool people we got to meet.
Yeah, there was a lot of there's a lot of names that showed up for this event. So.
Everyone was there, and it's like you're in a 5,000 seat arena, and I said it, on the last video. It's like small town the hockey game. Everyone knew everybody. Even me, some nobody YouTuber, got recognized. People wanted to meet me and say how's it going. It's like just to list off a couple. Let's talk about Locked On real quick, because I got to be on Locked On Coyotes. I think 2 months ago. Got to meet Robin and Carl. I'm terrible with names. Yep, Carl. All right. That picture was funny.
Poor Carl.
He looks so miserable in that picture.
Carl was having a good time. All right, nobody take that picture to context thinking he was not happy. He was happy. He just was not very photogenic in that one.
He was like, rival podcast, get away from us, you e-beggars or whatever. I don't know. Him and Robin were really nice, and it was really cool to interact with them. Like, where did you see Robin? Because I know she was sitting closer to you. But it's like you just walk up to me off in the corner. Hey, I found someone.
Yeah. She was sitting in one row over, and so when I came out to go to the bathroom, I was walking up the stairs and I saw her. I'm like, hey. I was like, hey, Robin. And then I had a really awkward handshake with her. I tried to fist bump and then handshake, and it turned into spaghetti. And so I was like, maybe she will. Maybe would you prefer a handshake, fist bump, up. Yeah, so it was awkward. It was not good. It was really bad.
Richie, yeah, I would not think you'd be that awkward as a married man. I figured you'd just be calm and collected. How's it going? Fist bump. Let's go film some footage from my idiot friend's vlog.
So the hard part that I have is I don't shake hands. Very rarely am I just gonna walk up and shake or fist bump or do something with people's hands. I don't know. I don't do it. So it's like taking the training wheels off. I have to learn. And I'm gonna fall sometimes. All right.
You know
it is what it is.
That's fine. You know, at least you weren't like me, so I know you saw the tweet, but when I first got there, I didn't know anyone there yet. I knew Altex, well, he was at the very front of the red carpet, so I couldn't get over to him. So I'm sitting there not knowing anyone, like off in the corner by myself, like I was in my middle school dance. Like I don't know what I'm doing. Like it was such an awkward moment. It's like I get it, I got you, but no. Locked On, they were really cool, really nice.
Yeah.
It was fun to actually get to meet them. Like a lot of these people we've talked to, you know, via the screen. You know, I was on Locked On Coyotes for an episode, and that was really fun. But when you actually get to see them in person, it's a different experience. And then we also got to meet a couple Twitch streamers, Altex, personal buddy of mine, and Deke Slayer, who is probably like one of the most well-known Coyotes fan content creators. He also has a YouTube channel. I don't know how he has less subscribers than me, so help him out too.
Yeah, go subscribe to Deke Slayer. He's an unreal dude. He always brings a passion for the Coyotes and passion for the sport. So,
and also give him a little junk. Tell him he looks like a discount Roger Craig Smith, and then like just quote Sonic things at him. He'll be confused.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, who else? I don't want to forget anyone.
So we did have celebrities, or do we want to keep talking about personal people?
I want to do one more because I think it was a funny story. We got to meet Dale Monning. Is one of like the he feels like one of the most famous Twitter Coyotes fans. It's like it's weird to explain, but we thought he was Bill Armstrong's burner. Like we actually all were hung around him and forced him to show us his Twitter app to show there wasn't another account connected. We are putting out a bounty. All right.
Bounty.
Right now, I will give you $5 for the identity of Bill Armstrong's burner.
We should like put our money together for like a jersey, and like if you figure out who, and if you are Bill Armstrong's burner, you don't get the damn jersey. It's a bounty. You don't get to claim it yourself.
What? It's street rules, buddy. There ain't no rules here.
Yeah. Bill Armstrong burner, by the way, if you don't know who that is, go on the Twitter, search that up. It's just a fan account. Maybe it is actually Bill Armstrong. Who would have guessed? But anyways, it's a burner account, and all he does is meme about like the Coyotes being the best in the league, and like he just memes the whole time. And
it's not even fair. You know, Nick Ritchie 100 goal pace this season.
Yeah, like he just memes the whole time, and it's great fun. It's lighthearted fun.
We need more of that because there's a lot of drama with invaders from the north.
The context is that we suspected that Bill Armstrong's burner was somewhere in the arena today, and we were going to find him. We didn't find him. Spoiler alert.
What would you do? What would you do if I was Bill Armstrong's burner?
I would keep it a secret. I would keep it a secret because then it ruins the mystery and the fun. We gotta know it's Bill Armstrong behind the tweets. If it's not, then it ruins the fun.
Bro, I saw him like driving in when I was walking into the arena, and it's like, that dude is intimidating. Like he's a very intimidating man. So like, he's going to pull into the parking lot. I was like standing on the sidewalk, and I'm like, holy, that's Bill Armstrong. That's Coyotes general manager Bill Armstrong. And I just stayed on the sidewalk. I'm like, I'm not going anywhere near that car. I'm pretty sure that's worth more than I'll make in the next 10 years. That was a very nice car.
Yeah. Was it a Mercedes? What was it?
I thought it was a Beamer, but I wasn't looking for the maker model. But honestly, I want that one car that has like the ASU pitchfork for a logo. I forgot. It starts with the name. It's like an Italian company.
I know it's no. Yeah, it might be Maserati. I think that's what it is. It's Maserati or Alfa Romero, one of those ones.
I need one of those because the freaking pitchfork is cool. But yeah, no. So everyone was there. Frankie Muniz was there.
Yeah, I do want to say real quick before we get into Frankie Muniz. I will say I know it's Mercedes. It was a joke. Please don't. I can't believe he mispronounced it. Yeah, I know. It's a joke.
You should have left it there for all the extra comments because now they're unsending the comments or they're
deleting them, making them feel stupid.
But no, we didn't see him, but Frankie Muniz was there. There was a former Coyote that was sitting over in the ASU section. Was it Greg Adams? Robin thought she saw Mike Smith. I'm still 50-50 on that because the facial structure still looks weird, but what Mike Smith does wear fedoras. I'm pretty sure I remember him wearing fedoras quite a bit. I saw Capabianco on the concourse, and he walked right past me. I knew I should have wore the Capabianco jersey, but it is what it is. And they need to play him, by the way, because the defense, you could use a little cap in your life. Who else? Who else is some of the big names you remember?
I don't remember too many famous people. I just remember that those potentially being there. Lots of just national reporters that I saw. Greg Wyshynski, I walked past, seemed to be liking it, even though he likes to poo-poo on the Coyotes. Wyshynski's the one who I've said in previous episodes where he made a positive thing about the Coyotes and then proceeded to, next day, I guess didn't get enough clicks, so he spun it negatively to get more clicks. And, I mean, I get it. It's his job, but I prefer him not to do that with my Coyotes. But I was walking past him, and I overheard him talking, and no, he wasn't whispering this. He was talking quite loudly, so it wasn't eavesdropping. But he said the atmosphere was great, and he was like, this is really cool. So sounds like he liked it, which is good, because I would prefer him not to poo-poo on the Coyotes. He's probably one of the bigger sports writers out there in hockey. And having a positive voice on the arena instead of just dumping on it constantly is always appreciated. We also did talk to, I know this is not news for you, but it's news for me. I got to meet the whole crew for PHNX. So not just Craig Morgan, who I've met a few times, but also Steve Peters and Leah Merrill. So that was really cool. Leah Merrill,
you're like, Leah, you're tall.
I'm like, Leah, you're tall. And she's like, I get that a lot. I was surprised. I didn't know that she's the tallest one there. She was tall.
Richie's not used to being the shortest in the group. Like,
yeah.
I think me and Craig are about the same heights. Like, I'm used to being the shortest one around. It's fine. Richie's just like, you're tall.
Yeah, well, I'm 6 foot, so I'm usually looking down at all the short kings, and Leah was like probably what 5'11", she's 5'10", 5'11", like she was nearly the same height as me, so I was surprised.
No, we also I got to talk to Patrick Brown a little bit. He's the writer for the Arizona Coyotes. He's really, really nice guy. He also used to write for the Hockey Writers, and then another individual, I forget what the specific website, I want to say it was like Daily Faceoff or something. He's a friend of Audie's, but I think it's Mike Gold. Please tell. I'm terrible with names.
Yeah, it's Mike, and then I don't know how to pronounce the last name, but it's Gould. Gold.
We'll just say Mike Gold.
Yeah.
Gould? He's a Gould?
I don't know. Sorry, Mike.
Was it Pete Black? The hell is his last name? It's like Blackthorn or Blackburn. Yeah, Pete Blackburn. He was there. Got to take a picture with him. My wife was super jealous. She's like, "Oh, I'm intimidated by it." So I'm like, "Hey, I get a picture." And then I showed her the text after where I sent it to Elena, and she was like, "What?"
So I don't know what broadcast he was with. I think it was ESPN or Sportsnet, one or the other. And he was interviewing people, and they had a cameraman, and then they had like a boom operator above them to get all the audio. And they were just interviewing people that were like sitting. And there was somebody sitting in like the disability section on the concourse. And this area was just like so tight. It was like right next to the cold beers and cheeseburgers. So the line was just like going all the way out. And like there's just so many people cramming through this little funnel. And somebody literally like body checks the cameraman by accident. He's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." Like they're in the middle of an interview and the cameraman is literally like, perfectly on it. And then all of a sudden he's like this. And he's just like, what the F, dude? But yeah, he literally like body check or like shoulder to shoulder checks him, and just like the camera goes straight up in the air and back down, and he's like, "I'm sorry."
Bro, Biz was also there. I think he was hanging out on the press box because I didn't see him anywhere downstairs, but Biz was there. I feel like I'm missing.
He probably would have gotten flooded with people though. Everybody would have been going for Biz.
It's Biz. Like, how can you not love Biz? Who the hell else? I feel like I'm missing someone else. Just keep going with whatever we're talking about, and if I remember, I'll just like shout it randomly.
I would don't know all the reporters that showed up there. There's some like popular ones, and then there's the non-popular ones. I don't remember if I said this earlier in the episode, but Craig Morgan said that there was 80 media people there, which is insane. Like if you think about that, 80 people for a game, a singular game. That's a lot of people, and that was just absolutely crazy seeing all of the people show up and turn out to just take a little peek inside, see what's under the hood in the Mullett Arena. But overall, I'd say that it was a pretty successful first game. Hopefully, we can keep that spirit going for the next couple of games. And also, screw you, all of you non-Coyotes fans who complain about empty seats, because they literally killed seats in order to, service all of those reporters, and so there's extras and spare seats that were left not sitting in. And of course, we get comments like, "Oh my God, they can't even sell out the 5,000 seat arena." LOL. It's like, are you kidding me? Like, did you even try to look at all? And then on top of that, so I did learn this too. The Coyotes are saving seats for day of. So like, day of sales, there's still seats they've reserved, which is really cool.
Because they want to have give everyone a chance to try it. It's a hot ticket. It's not going to be not a hot ticket for at least the next 2 years. The third year, like, they should be better, so it also should still be a hot ticket. But I don't want to talk too deep like into the future when it comes to stuff like that. I don't want to look foolish like a lot of these people end up looking. But it's so I do feel comfortable saying this much, and this was something that I asked specifically, because I'm getting ready to work there. Remember how we were talking about we didn't know how many seats would be sacrificed, going into the year, and the lowest number was it could go as low as 3,200. Well, yeah. What happened was not a single seat was taken out. In fact, I think with the standing room they added a little more capacity. The main reason why it was 4,600, I'd imagine it's because of the extra amount of reporters there. But the 4,700 number is because you have to have, and Craig Morgan was the one who kind of made sure to report on that to get the specific reason out there, is because you have to have tickets for friends, family, you have to have tickets and availability for reporters and media and officials and whatnot. Like, there's a lot of different tickets that need to be reserved in a 17,000 seat arena. That's perfectly fine, doable, no one cares. But when it's a tight space like that, it does affect it. And it's like 4,600, in attendance, it was 100% capacity there. And then it's like, oh, they couldn't even sell it out. Well, that number right there says 100% because these tickets that were available for sale, that were allowed to be sold, were all sold out, and people were in there packed. And also, some people might have got tickets, and then let's say they were like a special guest or something, ended up just like walking the concourse, most of it, or doing other things throughout the game. Like, there is still stuff to do in the arena, especially if you're one of the VIP types. So it's like, I don't understand I get it, they're desperate to complain, but I don't understand what's with the constant hate when it's like the numbers are right there to back it up. They sold out, and they're going to continue to sell out. Like, the building will not be empty at all. But if you're going to complain about 2 or 3 empty seats because God forbid somebody wants to go get a beer or take a piss, or it's at 7:30 at night in the East Valley, everyone works in the East, they live in the West, so you got to fish through traffic, and it's literally everyone's getting off work 5:30, 6 o'clock. You have to rush home and get over there. It's more convenient, but it's also more jam packed, so people would still be late getting over there to an extent, like a couple hundred people, which completely justifies those couple hundred seats that were filling in throughout the night.
Yep. Yeah, I agree with you totally. Well, we've gone probably about 30 minutes about the Mullet Arena. I say we probably switch gears and quickly kind of go over the hockey side of the operations.
All right. Let's get the notes up.
Let's talk a little bit about the game. I say we start with the Mullet game, and then we'll go backwards and work our way to the Columbus game, since we're on the topic of Mullet.
Can you freaking believe that the first NHL goal scored in Mullett Arena was Christian Fischer?
Did I call that? Did I say that, or am I having a fever dream? I feel like I said that.
Go watch the old footage and just see if you did. I legit don't remember, but I can tell you right now, I don't think if you placed $1 million bet, I'm never gonna see you again, because Stetcher gets his first assist to the Coyote. Nemeth, New York Rangers legend that everyone was saying was such a terrible contract we picked up. He's playing okay for us, but it's like Fisher of all players, Captain Fish. Literally the day after, he's sitting there talking about how cool the arena is, how excited the guys are, just praising this building, and it is what it is for the situation, but the building itself, talking about how great it was and how excited they were. Him being the one to score, but not just him. Him scoring 2 goals in a row, 5 minutes apart. Jack McBain gets the assist on that. So thanks, Grab, ever since you decided to randomly talk trash. The McBain pain train is in full effect, and almost had he should have. It would have been fun if he scored a hat trick, because the Mullets would have been on the ice. But
yeah,
you couldn't have made that. You can't make that up. You cannot make that up.
Yeah, it's even crazier is when you project out those stats. I know it's only 7 games or whatever. It's going to slow down, but when you project out those stats, Christian Fisher's on pace for 60 points and 30 goals or 35 goals or something like that.
I'll take 15. I'll be very happy with 15.
Yeah. I don't think he's going to score 35 goals, but if he hits 15, I'll be very happy with that. Somebody who I'm very unhappy with, points wise, although I think he's doing everything right, for all the little things. Barrett Hayton still yet to get a point after
it's got to be frustrating, because even I, and that I like Barrett Hayton, but it's even I felt a little frustrated at him, because I felt, and I can't even point to specific plays, so it might just be in my head, but I feel like there's a couple of plays where he could have been in a slightly better spot, or he could have had the opportunity to get a puck on net, and it's just I don't know if he's getting frustrated too. I know I'm getting a little frustrated with him, and I know it's not fair. I'm not trying to attack him or anything, but it's I want that first point. I want that first goal. I think he's got a snipe in him. I think it might be a snipe in the top corner going off the pipe and in. Just out of frustration at this point, because it's he's playing well in every other aspect. He really is. It's got to be frustrating, because the scoring has to come. It has to be around the corner, because that would really suck. Because it was, I'm already forgetting. It was a 3-year bridge contract or a 2-year bridge contract. It was a smaller contract.
Two, I believe. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was 2.
So that's got to frustrate the kid if he bets on himself and 10 games in doesn't have a point. It's not the end of the world. It doesn't mean he's a terrible player, but that's got to frustrate you.
Yeah, 2 years, and the points sucks, but he's doing everything right. If you watch, I think it's both of Gunner's goals. Both times he's screening the goalie in front. That goal isn't going in without that screen. That's just the truth. NHL goalies are way too good. You're not going to beat a goalie clean, as you once could, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, or whatever. You have to have somebody in their eyes in order to stop that or to allow that goal to go in. He's been there screening. He's been there trying to tip pucks. He's generally playing against the top line every night. He's playing against the best people in the league, defending them. So he's had a big challenge on his plate, but here's to him hoping that he gets a point maybe in the next game or two. Get off the 0 horse and start scoring.
And I just want to quickly give a little kudos to Perfetti. He scored his 3rd goal of the season the other night. I'm a big fan of Cole Perfetti in NHL 22. Yeah. I have him as my first line center because Logan Cooley doesn't exist yet. So it's it's cool to see him producing and kind of embracing a higher role, because that's a good young player. That's some talent that I wouldn't have minded if the Coyotes would have been able to snag. So it's
Perfetti.
And then, of course, Goal Caulfield. I had to remind everyone today of that time we could have had Cole Caulfield, because he's at a point per game, all even strength. I think it's was it 6 goals in 9 games or
something like that? 6 or 7.
It's stupid. It is stupid, and I wish Cole Caulfield was on the Coyotes.
Yeah, I remember when we all thought we were trading up to get him, but Alas, we did not. Feels bad.
Victor Soderstrom. Oh my God.
But yeah, I'm trying to think of other topics here. I guess we can move into the Columbus game real quick.
Yeah, I look again. I'm the optimist, but this Columbus game is kind of. I think that's what this team is going to be overall. Is again like they're gonna have games, not 6 games a night. Like don't think that, but it's like they should be able to score around 3 goals a night. That third goal shouldn't be that big of an issue, you know, with some of these scorers starting to really blossom a little bit, and also you have guys like Cassian that are muscling their ways around. That should help. He got a goal in that game from Nick Ritchie, but Nick Ritchie has 3 goals so far, about a goal every other night. Dylan Gunther got his second goal. McBain got his first. Valimaki and Michelli assisting on the Gunner goals. Just kind of trying to recap everything. Goss is still above a point per game. 7 games, 4 goals, 4 assists, 8 points. Clayton Keller is the only point per game player other than him. 2 goals, 5 assists, 7 points. He did quietly have his point streak end, but he's still a point per game player. I don't think we're going to be complaining about that. But it's just goaltending as well. Connor Ingram, 30 saves. It should have been 31. That third goal kind of stings, but 909 save percentage. He's getting another start tonight, and I really like the fact that they're finally evening up goaltending workload. And I asked Craig Morgan on Twitter. He said it was because he had a really good start. So Connor Ingram is also kind of stealing a couple of starts, which is good. You want to see that goaltending competition. But it's when you have the goaltending getting a little better. And it kind of shows, hey, is Ingram going to be our backup moving forward? Do you want to keep him if you decide to move on from Carroll in a couple years? Hey, is this going to kind of re-spark Carroll? Because Carroll still has, those 40 save nights in him constantly. It's just I feel like he lets in a couple those easy goals. So it's fine for a rebuild, but, trying to look past the rebuild phase. Some of these goal scorers like Dylan Gunther and that shot that kid has and how that's developing. Matthias Michelli is borderline adopted the Verbata setup play style with a bit of that Garland grit, and I think I don't think he gets sent back down. Even if the production it stays right around where it's at, where it should be 35 points this season, somewhere in there. That's good. That's
something like
nothing to scoff at. So it's I think he's going to stay in the middle 6. I think he's earned that spot. Jack McBain finally starting to get some of that scoring going, and he's still barreling over people. There's so many little things to look forward to that even though they're not playoff team, they're still going to be more competitive. They're still going to be more fun to watch. And that game, in overtime, that's their first game of the season they lost without giving up at least 6 goals. So it's trending in the right direction, and you take the losses, so that way you're still right where you should be for that lottery hunt, which is great. But it's also, you're seeing improvements on the ice as well, showing that the on-ice improvements don't have to ruin the rebuild. They don't have to, you don't have to be objectively terrible just because you want that number 1 or number 2 overall pick. It's showing that you can still provide a fun product even if you're losing because other teams are just better. So it's you saw Valimaki. I also want to talk about him just very briefly. I think the defense has looked almost at a slightly higher level with him playing. I feel like he is out there making a difference in a lot of the small things, and he's moving the puck around very well. I didn't expect the puck moving. I just expected good defense. And what were you going to say?
He's definitely stolen Mayo's spot.
Yeah, I think as much as I like Mayo might have lost his job.
Yeah. Yeah, he'll probably end up back in the minors or down in the AHL, and probably keep working on his game. He did not look very good. The first 5 games that he played or whatever.
The only thing is you don't want to ruin Tucson's momentum right now because they're having a really good season. I feel like you hold on to Mayo as your 7th defenseman, and then when injuries happen or whenever you trade Ghost, because that trade is coming. I don't know.
Yeah, that's true.
I have no timeline. Everyone probably assumes safe bet trade deadline. I still feel it should probably happen sooner than that, but that's just kind of my let's get this done mentality talking.
Yeah.
But I feel like you still keep him because he still also has an NHL contract, and we're Tucson's playing well right now. And as much as I like Mayo, I really do. If he's going through a cold bit right now and the team is on fire, just let him practice with the NHL squad and just be like, hey, you're still our seventh defenseman because you still haven't do an NHL contract. So it's like, you know, roster player.
And I mean he's an older player too, so he's not really going to be a guy that's going to complain about ice time because he's getting paid. This guy, would you rather be making $70,000 a year down in the AHL, or would you rather be a seventh defenseman making $750,000 a year, right?
Obviously, $70K. I'm a humble middle class guy.
Yeah, I think he'll be. I'll think he'll be just fine being a seventh defenseman, and he's not young to where he's like, you're ruining my trajectory. Like he knows what he is. He knows that the team is going to have holes that are going to be needing to be filled soon here. Like, it is what it is. I'm curious, who do you kick out for Chychrun?
Nemeth. I think he looked good in that game, against Winnipeg. Like, I actually don't have any complaints about his game for that one, but it's just he was brought on to be a seventh defenseman anyway, so that's probably the easy decision. I feel like Stetcher's playing pretty well. I feel like Valimaki, obviously, and JJ Moser. I'm gonna call my shot right here. If he keeps working, he's gonna be a Norris contender. I don't know if he ever wins one. I'm not gonna make that prediction, but he'll be in the conversation at some point. If damn, is that kid good? So yeah, I think he might have stolen a top pair spot. I think he's your number one left defenseman. I don't even think Chychrun takes over for that. So it's probably Nemeth. I don't know who else you'd swap out.
Yeah, I'd probably agree. That Nemeth Brown swapping is probably what's gonna end up happening. Even though that is the oppo side, you're gonna probably have to figure that out.
I think Ghost like playing on the right side, so you keep Brown and Stetcher on your second and third pairing. You just put Chychrun on the top pairing with JJ.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. On the pairing with Ghost. I apologize, because I know Ghost likes playing on the right, doesn't he? I remember hearing he likes that spot.
Maybe on Cap Friendly it says that his position is left defenseman. So I don't know
who's positioned on the right side other than Stetcher and Brown right now, and of course Mayo,
on the right. On the right, you got Stetcher, Brown, Timmins, who's injured, Mayo, who's out of the lineup. I'm assuming it's probably Nemeth, I would guess, that's playing opposite side. He's a left defenseman as well, but he's playing right.
So honestly, I think Timmins should be back in a week or so because he was day to day, which usually means about a week, 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I know the hockey guy said it pretty well. If it's day to day, expect a week or two. If it's week to week, about a month. They're gonna miss about a month. So it's like, the thing is, like, I feel like he moved the puck around well. I just don't know how I remember feeling about his overall play. I feel like he was playing fine. I don't know if I'm tripping over myself, like, trying to remember, but I remember, like, his passing was okay. I think he was okay defensively, but I don't remember he just didn't look quite as good as I think we hoped. But then again, he's also rusty after a year of not playing hockey.
I'm sorry, who are you talking about? Timmins. Timmins. Yeah. When you don't play a full year, it's hard to get back up to speed. And he only had 2 or 3 games before he re-injured, so it makes sense. What was it? Nick Schmaltz had no points in the first 5 or 6 games last year, and then ended up nearly a point per game, right?
Well, it happens when you have a 7-point night against Ottawa, right? Yeah, because that's the game you invited me to. Wasn't that on my anniversary?
Yeah, you ditched your anniversary to go watch that game.
Hey, I was there for history. My wife will always be there until one of us dies or we get a divorce, and that history was temporary, so you got to go to the history.
Yeah, of course. Let's quickly talk about the jerseys that we keep failing to address, and then I say we call it after that.
All right, that's fine. That works for me.
So I put it in the thumbnail last week. The previous episode, we should have been talking about the reverse retros, but we're stupid. Sorry. Yeah, we forgot to talk about the reverse retros. They came out And the Coyotes flying with a similar reverse retro, just orange this time. What are your opinions on the new burnt orange reverse retro jersey?
Well, I told you when it was first rumored that I thought it sounded disgusting because I'm like, I just don't see how orange sounds good. It just, in my head, didn't sound good. Then that concept came out that we were talking about. I'm like, that's a beautiful jersey. Like, I think I might need that. Then they officially reveal it, and boy, whoever made that decision needs to be fired. Like, you made that jersey look kind of disgusting because, like, in the reveal little like videos and whatnot, the lighting was terrible. And it made it look more muted than it actually is. If it wasn't for that fashion designer like crossover product that they showed the hat off, we wouldn't have actually seen it in the proper light. In Adidas, it is gorgeous. Now the jersey ad, I know you've gotten over it. Because like you'll have them removed. I refuse to pay. I'll stand by it. I will not pay full price for a jersey with an advertisement on it. That means I'm either buying Fanatics or I'm waiting for a sale or something. So I might unfortunately have to miss this jersey, but. It's a giant billboard. You can't tell me you're not going to notice that on the ice. It's literally with how the colors are. It's a giant billboard. But we're going to wipe that out for a second. That orange color is beautiful. That is a phenomenal jersey. Why the hell did they show it in darker light and mute it out? What is the mindset behind that decision?
I don't know whoever the cinematographer was that recorded all those to show off the jerseys with the models. There's like 4 or 5 models that they used.
Just fire him. That was disgusting. You should be ashamed. Like, that jersey is beautiful, and you made me question: is it really that good? Like, I actually, because I was so excited for this jersey that I see it in the leaks, and then it finally gets revealed, and I'm like, it's fine. How did you make that gorgeous jersey look like that? Like, now that I've had more time to think about it, I think the purple still works better. But that does not mean the orange isn't still good. Like, I think all 3 of the jerseys with that design are phenomenal jerseys. So it's like, quit your job. I will be very rude about that because that's a phenomenal sweater and it looked disgusting. And if it was the Coyotes' fault, if it was anyone involved with the organization's fault for saying no, let's show it in these muted colors, resign. I don't care if this ever costs me like any relationships with anyone, resign, because this jersey is beautiful. How dare you show it in anything but the most flattering light possible? Like, no.
Well, the videos that were released by the Coyotes, they're the same exact like shot list as all the other videos that were released by all the other teams. So I'm assuming it was probably a cinematographer that was used by the NHL to just show them all off. The NHL needs to tell that cinematographer next time to color grade better and don't use gels. I don't know why he used gels. So gels are like, essentially when you have a light, it only shines in like a certain color, right? It only shines in whatever Kelvin you set it to. But you can change the color of it using what's called gels. And that's to get your like blues, greens, things like that. He definitely was using certain gels in order to get his lighting, and it just, you threw off the entire color palette of the jersey when you do that. Don't do that.
But I do like one notable change. The more I'm thinking about it, especially with the proper lighting, I have to assume a little bit because we only got to see the top of the jersey in that one photo leak. But the mountains and everything in the background, like being in the middle of a sandstorm and like having the sand on, I think that looks really neat. Like, it's not like that pristine, green or purple design where it's like it's just the desert, but it's like it's different, and I feel like it's pretty good like detail and highlights to it. So I think that's gonna look a lot better in proper lighting.
I would have loved the what I feel like whenever we get the mock-ups always look better than when they come out. The mock-up that was out there on Twitter that was flying around with the burnt orange, and it had the cream sleeves. It had the like cream sleeves, and I think it was cream mountains or something like that. Like, that looked so good. I liked that light, like creamy color added with the burnt orange, but we didn't get any of that cream color. It was only like a black and burnt orange.
So what you're saying, Richie, to all of our subscribers, is that you love you some cream. Is
Yes.
what you're saying.
Yeah. You pervert. Of
I'm
course.
sorry. That was the first thing I thought.
Anyways, non-cream talks. Overall, I would say that the jerseys, to me, probably, I would say a 7. I like it. I'm a little afraid they're going to overdo it using the Space Coyote. Yeah, I would say about a 7.
Speaking of jerseys, I think my words kind of speak for itself. I think it looks really good. Probably the purple one's better, but it's still really good. So make your own assumptions there. I think that should be enough context for me. But one more jersey talk. Did you see because remember the original rumor was our alternate is going to be a black peyote, the same design as this, but it's going to be black.
Yeah.
I thought that could look nice, kind of like the desert, night sky, whatever. Though the purple probably does that better. But did you see the new mock-up where it's an all maroon jersey with the
Arizona word mark?
Arizona word mark. Look, I don't know if you remember this. You probably do. When the Flying Fox was getting ready to come out, we were kind of getting ready to see what the overall design was going to be. We had that Phoenix Coyotes cursive word mark. I think that would have looked gorgeous on it. I like the Flying Fox for how weird it is, but I feel like the jersey itself looked really nice, and having that word mark could have really worked on that jersey. The word mark in this concept, so we don't know that's the final design, just a concept. Yep. That word mark looks disgusting, and I really hope they have more stripe and stripings on it, because it looked really bland, and I'm like, please don't be our actual alternate. Please don't do this to me.
I don't know how I feel about that one either. It's kind of a meh. I don't like word mark jerseys in the first place. I don't know. I don't like them. I don't know why the NHL thinks that people like them. I guess they just look at the New York Rangers and they're like, well, it works for the New York Rangers, so everyone will like them. And it's like, no. The New York Rangers can do it because it says New York on it. There's literally hats that sell just by putting NY on them. New York is a brand of its own. Just tossing Jersey on a jersey is not a good one. Same with tossing Arizona onto a jersey.
Jersey was phenomenal, and you know that because of how stupid it was.
Yeah.
But with New York, obviously, if their fans like it, I as someone who's not a fan of the team, who am I to comment? So it's you do you. In my opinion, I think they're all wrong in loving this jersey that just says Rangers. I know it's original 6. I know it's just because it's always been that way. I love the Lady Liberty. I feel like that should have gone over better, because I love that logo, and I feel like that just should have been what they are. But the fans voted with their wallets, and they were very loud, so it's my opinion can be irrelevant, because they're still going to sell the same jersey they've sold for 100 years that just says Rangers on it, and it's going to continue to sell. So
does it say Rangers, or does it say New York? I thought it said New York.
It says Rangers, but maybe the home and away say different. But I know I know it says Rangers, but it could be literally both. But it's really, really weird. I don't get it, but maybe it's an East Coast thing.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to be getting one of those jerseys. I'm already well over my allotted money for jerseys for the year with buying this orange one, so I don't know if I'm going to get the
I'm going to get the Lightning one. I need that Storm jersey. That is disgusting, and I love it. I need that. There's a couple other ones I like. I'm mad at the Sharks one, because they should have just used the Golden Seals logo, or they should have just done what they did in that giveaway jersey I have with the Golden State crossover, where they just have the Shark in the Golden Seals colors, because the California Golden Seals, for as ugly as that logo is, I love it. I think it's got a charm to it, but just saying Sharks looks really... I get it. That's what it said. Seals on it. I think California and then Seals, depending on if it was home or away. I get it, but it looks weird, and you want people to pay $200 for it.
Yep. Yep. It is what it is. I we'll say this is another successful episode. I think I'm going to cut us off here. We are well over the hour mark, so I think it is time to give us a little boot. So,
All right.
thank you so much. Thank you so much for watching. For episode, what was it? 32, which
Episode
is
Michael Telquist. I want
Telquist,
to
there you go.
preemptively congratulate us for 100 subscribers. I'm gonna call my shot now, even if I have to make 3 alternative accounts and subscribe to it. We will hit 100. I swear.
Oh, all right. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, and follow on whatever platform you're listening to us on, and we will see you later.